or visit veterans.mt.gov. Montana serving veterans.
Brought to you by Montana Veteran Affairs Division and this station.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. It's time for Montana's only daily sports talk show, Nuanez Now. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
I like football!
Now here's your host, Coulter Nuanez.
Yo, what's up, Montana? Welcome in. 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. You're listening to Nuanez Now, coming to you live from the Grizzly Disposal Studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Grizzly Disposal, locally owned, veteran-owned, and the only Bears that should be in your garbage. Ton of stuff to get to today. We're going to keep on going through all the different results from the weekend that was for state championship, everything, state championship spring sports, as it were. Plenty of action. We talked plenty about it yesterday, but when you count it all up, I mean, you got 8 different state champions in tennis. You have 3 different state champions in softball, 2 in baseball, 8 in track and field. That's just the teams. And then you have all the individuals as well. So it's going to take us a little while to get through all this stuff, but we certainly want to give everybody their just due. And we're going to focus a little bit more on, we talked pretty extensively about all the stuff that was in Missoula yesterday. We are broadcasting statewide, but we are coming to you from the Missoula Broadcasting Company. So that's the stuff that I was able to attend over the weekend. But there was plenty of other action as well going on around the state. So we'll touch on the A and C track meet. We'll also give you an update on small school softball and baseball. We also have our latest Treasure State Stars, and that's all just in hour number 1. We're also going to catch up with 2 of the best track athletes in the state of Montana at the collegiate level, Kevin Swindler from the University of Montana. He's a pole vaulter, and Rob McManus, Mr. Steeplechase himself from Montana State. Both those guys going to the national meet. McManus going back to the national meet for the 4th year in a row. Swindler, the lone Grizzly representative, going to Eugene. So we caught up with both of those guys. We're also going to talk some Stanley Cup because the Stanley Cup Finals begins tonight with Carolina taking on the Las Vegas Knights. Hayden and Jeff will be back with their in-depth analysis, but I'll try to steer the ship as much as I can. I do consider myself an aficionado when it comes to almost every sport. Hockey's the one I just don't know that well. I never played it. I was only slightly into the video games when I was a kid, but I do think it's really fun to watch, and I'm certainly going to be tuning in tonight. But Hayden's the one that knows all the stuff, so I'm the guy asking the questions. He's the guy giving the answers. We'll give you a full preview of the Stanley Cup Finals. We'll probably do that both at 4:30 and 5:30 today, sort of split it up and have a little Stanley Cup action for you in each hour. And then if I can figure out a way to salvage the file, we also might hear from the Sentinel baseball team. They are the AA champions. I won't get into the ins and outs because who cares? The only person that cares in the world is me because the interview is a little bit up and down. We were recording it virtually. I think the file might be corrupted. Again, nobody cares any of the details about this except me, so I will just leave it at that. But we might hear from these guys. If we don't, I'll figure out a way to get back to it, or we'll edit it up and make it listenable for you. But potentially, the Sentinel Boys baseball team will join us here on Nuanez Now. So that's what's coming up. You want to stream it? You always can. 102.9 ESPN Radio. You can also find us on the ESPN MT app. You can also always find us on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitch. And if you'd like to be a part of the show, 406-888-1029. That's 888-1029. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Also, You'll hear promos running on ESPN around the clock here for the next 3 weeks. I won't remind you every day here on Nuanez Now, but we do have our latest Father's Day giveaway. We've given you a whole bunch of fun stuff over the years, everything from a Traeger to a Blackstone to golf excursions, and that's what we're back to this year for our annual Father's Day giveaway. Father's Day coming up in about 3 weeks. June 21st is when Father's Day weekend is. Father's Day, as it were, the same that Sunday. We have a foursome for you to Larchmont Golf Course, plus a couple carts, plus a gift card to the Last Best Golf Company. So that's a pretty nice prize. Here's what you do. Got to text us about your dad. If by chance you don't have a dad, we're not going to leave you out of this. I lost my father at a young age. So, I know what it's like to not have a dad. It's a terrible thing. But I certainly have other men and gentlemen in my life that I consider like father figures. So text us about your dad or somebody you consider a father figure. Send us a picture of you guys doing something or a nice note about them. Like if you want to win this prize, what dad are you going to take golfing? That's how you're going to enter in. Tell us about this person or about your relationship with them, or tell us about, send us a picture. Send us a photo of you fishing, a photo of you golfing, camping, whatever. If it's your dad, great. If it's your grandpa, great. Whatever. Somebody that is a fatherly figure to you in your life, but you got to engage with us. Multiple entries is going to get you farther, as well as multiple engagements and in-depth engagements. 406-888-1029. You want a foursome to Larchmont, as well as 2 carts and a gift certificate to Last Best Golf Company? Text us about your dad, 406-888-1029. That's 888-1029. Text us and get entered in to win our annual Father's Day prize. A couple news briefs for you here before we dive into some more of the state updates. First of all, the last state championship to be decided is playing out right now in Butte. The Class A state softball tournament was in Hamilton, but it got rained out on Saturday before they played the championship game. Hamilton was the host school. They also made it to the championship. They were set to take on Laurel. Well, then Hamilton was undefeated. Laurel had a one loss. They fought their way through the losers bracket. So those two teams played today at 2 p.m., and Laurel pounded Hamilton 13-1. That does not mean that it's over. Now we have to play the deciding game. Winner gets first, loser gets second, as that one's going to be underway here in just a little while. So we'll get you an update on that, but that's your news of the day from the softball diamond. Laurel evens it, and now we got a winner-take-all state championship game in Butte. They went to Butte because that's sort of the midway point for these two teams. So we'll give you an update on that as soon as we can. This was in the news yesterday, and we were just so jam-packed with high school stuff that we did not get to it. But Montana State University, the athletic department as a whole, their men won the Big Sky Conference All-Sports Trophy. The women finished second, so safe to say that Bobcat Athletics is humming along. This is basically an accumulation of points for all the sports that exist in the Big Sky Conference. This is the 6th time Montana State has won the men's All-Sport Trophy. The only school to finish in the top 2 in both races is Montana State. MSU outdistanced Montana in the men's results while finishing behind Northern Arizona in the women's standings. So NIU wins on the women's side, Montana State second, and on the men's side, it's the Bobcats. They previously won the All-Sports Trophy in 2021-22 as well as 22-23. They also won it in 2012-13, 2004-5, and 2002-3. So a couple of those from yesteryear. I guess 3 of those yesteryear, but 3 of the 6 have come under the leadership of Leon Costello, who's in his 10th year as the athletic director at MSU. The football team obviously won the conference and national championships. They also logged second-place finishes in men's basketball, indoor track and field, and a third-place finish in men's cross country. The MSU women's team, which was led by an outdoor track and field championship squad, was just half a point behind NAU. The Bobcats also finished second in women's basketball, third in cross country, and third in golf. So that's the way it all played out. A great showing for the Grizz as well. Montana State did win pretty handily by almost a full point. These points, Montana State had 8.3 points, so a point is a pretty lofty total, but MSU had 8.30 points. Montana had 7.60. The Grizz finishing ahead of NAU is impressive just because the Grizz maybe haven't been as strong outside of football and men's basketball and men's sports, but their track program certainly is coming. So that's good progress for Montana. On the women's side, again, NAU, 7.86 points. Montana State, 7.25 points. The Montana women way down, though, 4.56 points on the Montana side in women. So great showing in men's across the board for the state of Montana. Great showing by the Montana State women. But the Montana women's athletics needs a boost. Their track and field is as good as it's been in 20 or 25 years. Golf is an afterthought. Volleyball had a struggle year. Soccer was great, but I don't know if that sport actually plays into the All-Sports Trophy just because not everybody has it. I'll check on that. But either way, soccer was a bright spot for sure. Track and field was a bright spot for sure. Women's basketball had one of its historically worst years ever. Volleyball had a tough year. And cross country and golf, sort of not competitive in the Big Sky Conference as well. So a lot of work to be done for Montana women's sports, but Montana State's women's sports doing great. Montana State's men's sports doing excellent, and Montana's men's sports doing excellent as well. Nuanez Now 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. State baseball is in the books, but the latest news brief is that we have the Gatorade Montana Baseball Player of the Year. It's Paxton Prill from Billings Central. Central's year did not end maybe how they had hoped, but because they were the defending champions. They're the defending champs of the last all-class state baseball tournament. Now there's two. There's the AA and then the AB. Central won the last all-class one. Then this year, they did not get it done at the AB tournament. Still had a great year. They made it to the AB tournament. Prill, who plays first base and outfield, but is also an outstanding pitcher, had a great year. He pitched in 18 different games, almost exclusively as a reliever, struck out 50 in 24 innings, only walked 6, and had a 0.00 ERA. For those keeping track at home, that's as good as it can be. Did not give up a run the entire year. Opponents hit just 0.27 against him. That's crazy. Had 5 shutouts and 3 no-hitters. 3 no-hitters 1 year. So he's a starter and a reliever. He also hit .417 with 19 RBI and had a fielding percentage of 1,000. So that's pretty darn good. Perfect in the field, basically perfect on the mound, and got a hit about 41% of the time he was up to bat. Paxton Prill, Jr. of Billings Central, certainly well-deserving of the Montana Gatorade Player of the Year. Billings West head coach Kyler Thompson said Paxton Prill is a top-tier competitor on the mound. No matter what the situation he's put in, he prepares every single day, whether he's starting in 5 days or starting the next day, and he flat gets after it. He doesn't take a single pitch off until he comes out of the game. Prill deserves Gatorade Player of the Year in my mind, and he's just going to get better and better. It'll be awesome to see how he grows in the near future and into his college career. He is verbally committed to Notre Dame. Yes, that Notre Dame. Pretty darn cool. He's the 3rd Gatorade Player of the Year in state history. Cade Stojkar of Butte won the award 2 years ago. Cash Lawrence of Hamilton won the award last year. Paxton Prill becomes the 3rd ever Montana Gatorade Player of the Year in baseball. The last news brief we got for you is about some of the athletes from the state of Montana that are competing elsewhere in the track and field world that are headed to the National Championship meet in Eugene. So this weekend, the National Championship meet starts June 10th. They're at Hayward Field, which is the place. It's the field of dreams for track and field at the collegiate level. So that starts next week. So we'll hear from Kevin Swindler from the University of Montana, as well as Rob McManus from Montana State. But athletes that are from Montana competing elsewhere include Claire Kovacs, who hails from Sealy Swan. She's now a senior at Colorado State. She placed second in the discus for the entire region, 191 feet 7 inches to take second. So she will be a bona fide contender for first-team All-American honors as well as potentially a national championship. Boise State's Abby Kendrick, who is a Missoula Hellgate graduate, also moved on to the national meet. She was 5th overall in the 3,000-meter steeplechase for the Broncs. Haley Burns, who's a Bozeman product, she runs at Northern Arizona. She was 11th in the women's 1,500 meters, ran a crazy time of 4 minutes, 9.8 seconds. That shows you how fast it is. She barely qualified for nationals. 4 minutes, 9 seconds is absolutely smoking in the 1,500 meters in the women's side. Yet there was 10 runners faster than her. Pretty crazy. Other Montanans who didn't quite make it to nationals but are worth giving updates on include Audrey McElmurray, who's a Missoula Sentinel graduate. She competed at Sacramento State and then finished her career this last year as a grad transfer from San Jose State. She triple jumped 42 feet 4 inches, and that helped her place 27th. The winning jump over 45 feet from Oregon's Sharifa Davranova. That's a crazy jump for triple jump. The women's marks these days are just astounding. And Erin Wild, who was a 7-time Big Sky Conference champion from Whitefish, she does compete in the state of Montana at the University of Montana. She finished 32nd in her last ever collegiate meet. She went 5'9" and a quarter in the high jump. So she's been to nationals before, but she will not be advancing to nationals this year. Well, it's Down 102.9 ESPN Radio. Again, your update for Class A state softball. Laurel drills Hamilton 13-1 to force basically a winner-take-all state championship game. That one got underway about 15 minutes ago, so we'll let you know what's going on with that. But one more state champion left to crown here in the state of Montana. Let's take a look at some of the best high school track marks that weren't in Missoula. The AC meet was in Laurel. And here's some of the meet marks that caught my eye. First of all, Bridger Burrows of Laurel on his home track. He broke the all-class state record in the long jump. He went 23 feet 9 and a quarter inches. That helped set the pace as Laurel won the Class A state title. And Burrow, that's a pretty lofty record. I think a lot of people thought Johns Lee Pierre was going to break that record. He went 22:10 for Lester Christian, but Bridger Burrows rises up and claims it. Burrows is headed to Montana State next year, so we'll catch up with Bridger. But that was an all-class record that fell that we did not mention yesterday. Also, another all-class record that was set but then was broken came from Macy Brandon of Havre High School. She ran 11.99 seconds in the 100 meters. She was one of 2 girls to break 12 seconds this weekend, and those were the first 2 girls ever. Emery Peel ran 11.96 seconds, so she is the all-class state record holder, even though Brandon was just 3/100ths of a second off. Pretty crazy to run sub-12 and not get the all-class state record, but I think that shows you how good track and field has become in the state of Montana. Brandon, though, led the way for Havre. They won their first state title since 1991, and she won the 100 meters, the 200 meters, the 400 meters, and also ran a winning leg on the state championship sprint relay team. So very impressive weekend for Macy Brandon. We are efforting her, and hopefully can have her on the show later on this week. Landon Richards, Superior, we talked about him earlier this spring, but he has been the leader in the clubhouse for the best mark in the state in the high jump, and he did it again. The boys' high jump record is over 7 feet. That's insane. I don't know. I mean, you had it. I mean, it stood for almost 40 years before Trey Tittinger beat it, Helena High. And Tittinger did it when he was a freshman, maybe a sophomore as well. And then he sort of just dropped off the map, and I have no idea what happened to that young man. I have no idea. He didn't really compete his junior or senior years in high school. No idea if he competed in college, but I don't think he did. But to me, like 6'9" is the jump, right? Over 6'9" is crazy good. I just don't know how many Montana athletes are ever going to get over 7 feet. That might be one of the most, if not the most, unbreakable records in Montana track. That's all to say that Landon Richards getting 6'9.25". That's an excellent mark and a Class C record. He's from Superior High School. Pretty cool for him. Jolie Klempel was a one-woman scoring machine for Richie Lambert. They went back-to-back in Class C. And Klempel did everything. She won gold in the 100 meters, the 100-meter hurdles, the shot put, the long jump. She also finished second in the triple jump. She ran a leg on the second-place sprint relay team, and she ran a leg on the fourth-place mile relay team. So you add all that up, it's like 57 points, I think, if my math's going correctly. 4 championships is 10 points. Then a second place in the it's 40 points, excuse me. Second place in the triple jump gets you to 48. A second place in the sprint relay gets you to 56. And then a fourth place in the mile relay, that's another 5 points. That's 61 points. That has to be close to, if not the state record, for the amount of points one individual athlete contributed. Klempel is only a junior, and she's been unbelievable. But that's the second straight state championship for Richie Lambert. Klempel also broke her own record, her own Class C record in the long jump. She went nearly 19 feet, and she's still got a year left. So she is certainly an athlete to watch coming into next year. That's an unbelievable number of points and an unbelievable performance for her. Trent Lane from Cascade, he's going to join us later on this week. We're trying to schedule around this. He's getting his wisdom teeth out tomorrow. He thinks he could come on either tomorrow or Thursday. I told him, I don't know, buddy. We might want to wait till you're a little bit less swollen. But either way, we'll catch up with Trent Lane either later this week or early next week. But he was the catalyst to Cascade winning the Class C boys state title. Lane, who's a junior, won the 800 meters, the 1600 meters, and the 3200 meters. So we'll get to him when we can. Finn Schrettenthaler from Park High, he did the double dip, 800 and 1600 meters to help lead the way for Livingston. Decker Puckett from Laurel, he also had a double state championship. He won the short and the long hurdles for Laurel. So that was him and Burroughs were sort of the two that led the way for the Locomotives as they won their first state championship in a really long time. Tamrit Savick from Big Fork, he also got dual state championships. He won the high jump and the triple jump. Jacob Swan from Denton, Geyser, Stanford, Geraldine, he swept the 100 meters and the 200 meters at the Class C meet. And Dane Graham of Chester, Joplin, Inverness threw the shot put 58 feet 3 inches, and he also won in the javelin as well. So he was a double-time state champion himself. Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. I'm Colter Nuanez, coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio. Stanley Cup Finals begins tonight. We'll check in with the expert on the other side. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. Hayden Smith giving us all things hockey. That's next. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. It's Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio.
DeMorris Buick GMC is ready to help you safely travel Montana's scenic roads in comfort and style. Stop by DeMorris today and test drive some outstanding SUVs. Right now, take advantage of closeout pricing on the uniquely designed and well-equipped 2024 Buick Encore GX with models starting at $28,895. Don't miss this opportunity. Go to demorris.com to preview our inventory of 2024 Buick Encores and then pay a visit to DeMorris Buick GMC on West Broadway in Missoula, your family-owned hometown dealership for over 60 years.
It's easy to see why Montana is the treasure state. At the University of Montana, we look inside. We see an old truth with fresh eyes, that Montana's greatest treasure is its people. So whatever tomorrow brings, we meet it the only way we know how, with a mind for making. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
Missoula.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Billings West High School sat at the center of the spring sports world this weekend in Missoula. Hello, I am Colter Nuanez. The Class AA and B State Track and Field Championships took place at Missoula County Public Stadium, while the Class AA softball tournament was mostly played right across South Avenue at Fort Missoula, and the Golden Bears stole the show at both championships. Although the state softball title game was actually played at the Grizzly softball field on the University of Montana campus because of weather on Saturday. For the fourth time ever and the first time since 2014, the Billings West softball team won the state championship, and this version of the Golden Bears left no doubt. Elise Steinmetz blasted a grand slam home run to dead center field in the first inning to give West a 4-0 lead. The Golden Bears never looked back, earning a 10-0 win over Great Falls CMR. At MCPS, the boys AA team title came all the way down to the wire while the West girls ran away with the state crown. The Golden Bear girls bookended the meet by shattering the all-class record in the sprint relay to start Friday and earned a gold in the mile relay to cap Saturday. In between, the West girls rolled up 122 points, nearly 40 more than second-place Gallatin, to earn their 8th AA state title and their first since 2016. The Golden Bears boys needed to place second in the mile relay and ahead of Glacier to edge the Wolfpack by 2 points for their 15th team title, which is also their first since 2017. For all the best marks from state track and field from throughout the weekend, tune into Nuanez Now all week long at 4 p.m. on 102.9 FM ESPN Radio.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is presented by Canyon River Golf Club. It's Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
Today's playlist dedicated to all things hockey. It's amazing what the algorithm can spit out at you. I Googled and Spotified hockey songs, and that was the number one that came up. So fitting that the man behind the glass, Hayden Smith, who's the producer of this show, program director here at ESPN MT, he is a hockey head, loves him some puck, and also loves some electronic music. So he just stuck his head in the studio. He's like, we're playing some electronic music today, huh? I was like, yeah, this is the one they said is the hockey song. So I guess those things go hand in hand. Stanley Cup playoffs begin this evening. Las Vegas Knights seem like they've just been chilling for a long time because they swept the Colorado Avalanche. Carolina needed a little bit more time to take care of the Montreal Canadiens, but still a pretty dominant victory for Carolina. And game one tonight is in Carolina. So usually it's Jeff Safford and Hayden Smith rapping about all things hockey. But Jeff is getting ready for the Paddleheads season opener tonight, the home opener, that is. Paddleheads have already played 12 games somehow. Crazy how fast that goes by. It's a 94-game season, and we already knocked out like an eighth of it before they even played a home game. So Jeff will be coming up here on ESPN Radio later on this evening, and we'll circle back with him when it comes to the Stanley Cup. But for now, you have to deal with me, sort of wading my way through hockey and Hayden providing the expertise. So, first of all, what's your level of stoke? Have you gotten over the sadness? Hayden's a big Colorado Avalanche guy, so it's been hard for him to take the Avs getting swept. But now that it's sort of in the rear view, have you gotten over it? Are you going to be able to watch this series with some joy and enthusiasm?
Oh, I mean, for sure. I think us keeping Jared Bednar as the head coach was a pretty good sign. I was a little bit worried that they were going to fire him, and he's one of the longest tenured coaches. The guys really like him, so seeing that has given me a little more confidence going forward. But, I mean, it's not uncommon for the top team in the NHL to lose in the playoffs. The President's Trophy winner, they call it the President's Trophy curse for a reason. Typically, the team that has the best regular season does not win. So, I'm not shocked about the fact that Colorado lost. I just, it's sad to see him get swept like that to a team like Vegas.
Well, momentum is a giant part of every sport. Ryan Tutel and I have had this argument for 10 straight years now. He doesn't believe in momentum, which is just asinine. I hope he's listening right now as we talk about this. But it seems to me that hockey and baseball, like those are the two where if you're rolling, and like whatever you did, partly because the seasons are so long, but like whatever you did months ago or even a month ago doesn't really matter. How you playing right now? And it seems like both these teams are scorching hot. Would you agree? And what has helped both these teams get to this place of carrying so much momentum into the Stanley Cup Finals?
Oh, I mean, I'd say especially on the Vegas side. I mean, when you see a team that, and first of all, Vegas had a losing record in the regular season. Right. I don't think a lot of people know that. They were 39-43 in the regular season.
And have they lost in the playoffs? Have they lost in the playoffs? Just one loss in the playoffs, right?
Carolina's lost once in the playoffs. Vegas had a couple losses in the first two rounds.
Right.
But so this is a team that's 39-43, has a lot of high expectations. They fire their head coach in Bruce Cassidy, who won a cup with them in 23, 8 games before the regular season ends. So I mean, that's obviously a team that does not feel like that they're doing the things they need to be doing on the ice to succeed in the playoffs. And they bring in John Tortorella, and he's done a fantastic job. He's actually not even under contract for next season, so it's interesting like who they're going to be. Who's going to be their head coach the next season. But yes, I mean, Vegas is a perfect example. I mean, they fired their head coach. They got the guys riled up. They're playing the best hockey they've played the entire year. And what I was going to say earlier is they would have the least regulation wins for a team that's won the Stanley Cup ever. They had 30 wins in regulation in 82 games. So, wow. I mean, they're just playing their best hockey right now, and it's impressive to watch, and to see them kind of just flip it around has been pretty cool.
Hayden Smith chiming in here on Nuanez Now. Stanley Cup playoffs Stanley Cup Finals, begin this evening. This conversation probably presented by Sportsbet Montana. If you want to wager on the game, on the action, get a little NBA, NHL parlay going, get the Sportsbet Montana app in your life. You can also find kiosks, more than 550 of them around the state of Montana. Sportsbet Montana proud to present the pro sports coverage here, especially this time of year, on Nuanez Now. So what was the thing that helped Vegas turn the corner then? Like if they only had 30 regulation wins during the regular season, why are they so red hot now? What changed?
Well, I think the goaltender was a huge part of that. And I think that was a big part of why they brought John Tortorella in, is he had prior experience with Carter Hart. He was the head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers when Carter Hart was a part of that team before he had his whole debacle and had to miss a few years. I'm not going to go into that. If you know, you know. But I think that just the goaltending change has been huge. And then, you're seeing your guys like Brett Howden. That he's a good player in the regular season. He's certainly not a guy that's going to have 10 goals in the playoffs type of guy when you need him. So they just have a lot of gamers, man. Guys that step up in the big moments. Mark Stone's another one of those guys. I mean, he's not like a true goal scorer, but he has tons of game clinching goals when he needs them. So I just think they have a lot of guys that just rise to the occasion when they need it, and they've continued to prove that over the last 9 years that they've had a franchise. I mean, going to 3 Stanley Cup Finals in 9 years is a remarkable feat for an expansion team.
It's actually crazy when you think about it, especially given some of the other struggles of other teams, right? Like, I remember when the Charlotte Hornets won a playoff series in the NBA in the mid-'90s. And, I mean, that was like a catastrophic event. And they won one playoff series. This is not like running the table in the playoffs multiple times and getting to the finals like the Vegas Golden Knights have. Again, 3 times in just 9 years of existence. It's been pretty impressive to watch. Carolina has been good, but they haven't been able to get over the hump to this point. And I know you gave me a great stat, so tell people that stat. Carolina was sort of stuck in the conference finals for how long? What has helped them sort of make the next step and get to this point in the year?
Yeah, so since 2006, when they won the Stanley Cup, they've had 4 Eastern Conference Finals appearances, and they have won and 16 in those appearances. So obviously, they have just not been able to turn the corner in the games that really matter. And, I wouldn't point to any particular reason why it's starting to work out well for them this year. I just think that they've had a lot of guys with a lot of experience now and have been here and done that. I think Rod Brind'Amour, and here's a really, really cool stat. So Rod Brind'Amour, he's the head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes. He was also the captain of the Carolina Hurricanes in 2006 when they won. And he has been a part of every single playoff game, either as a coach or player, in their entire franchise's history.
Crazy.
So that is a guy that definitely has the boys going. I mean, look him up. They call him Rod the Bod Brind'Amour for a reason. I mean, he's still in the gym just ripping with these guys day after day. He's a true player coach. I just think they have it this year. They have immense depth throughout the lineup. Guys like Sebastian Aho, Andrei Svechnikov, Taylor Hall. And Taylor Hall's a guy that won an MVP in the I think for New Jersey Devils in 2018. So, I mean, that's a guy sitting on their second, third line that is literally, one of the best players in the league, and he's certainly proving it right now. But they just have a lot of depth, man. They've got 3-4 lines that they can roll through. Their penalty kill is the best in the entire league. They have just elite team defense led by Ron Brind'Amour's system, and the goaltending in Frederik Andersen has been good enough for them to win. I mean, they're 12-1. They've lost 1 game so far in the playoffs, which I think is the first time ever that's been the case in the modern NHL.
Do you have a gauge on? This has been really fascinating to me to look at the regionality of sports, and like Carolina, for example, the Charlotte Hornets have had an impossible time. Now it's the Charlotte Bobcats because the Hornets disappeared, then they went to New Orleans, and then all of a sudden that became the Thunder, and then New Orleans didn't have a team, and all of a sudden Charlotte does have a team, but it's the Bobcats, and they've had varying levels of popularity, but it's always been in that part of the country, the Charlotte whatevers, Hornets or Bobcats, the Carolina Panthers, they've been massively overshadowed by college basketball because Tobacco Road is so big. And you got Duke, you got North Carolina, you got Wake Forest, you got NC State. Everybody's obsessed with that first and foremost. Do you have a gauge of where Carolina fits in? Obviously, Rod Brind'Amour is probably a folk hero there. Are people, obviously the hockey faction is excited about this, but do you get a sense that the region as a whole is excited about this, or do they have the same challenges as some of those other Carolina teams to have relevance in their part of the world?
Well, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of the reason why a lot of these Carolina teams aren't relevant is because they're not good.
Right, the Panthers have had the 2 breakthrough years when they just randomly made the Super Bowl, but that have been objectively awful the whole rest of the time. They got an owner that is, they fired a coach every year for 3 years in a row. That's not the way to be good in the NFL. So you're right, and the Charlotte Hornets or Bobcats have been the worst in the league. They're sort of on the come up now, and they made the play-in game in the playoffs this year. But you're right, by and large, they've been not very good. So you're right. People would rather just go down Tobacco Road and go to Chapel Hill and watch a good North Carolina team above these teams for sure.
Yeah, and obviously the Eastern Conference Finals have just been heartbreaking losses. I mean, these are 4 teams that have been really competitive and then finally got to the Eastern Conference Finals and then really just crapped the bed just like Colorado did. So I think that when you're just seeing such kind of immense losses in situations where you think you should probably win a couple, that definitely discourages fans from showing up. And I'll tell you right now, Rod Brind'Amour has definitely got those guys going, and he's definitely a folk hero. I mean, he's been around for their entire franchise's history. So if that's not going to get the fan base in it, a guy that truly is a lifer for them, a couple years ago, he could have definitely taken a lot more money and been a head coach of another team.
Sure.
But he wanted to stay because he truly is a hero of this franchise. So, the loyalty has got to be honored in some way, and I think that winning a Stanley Cup this year for them would definitely go a long way in bolstering that fan base going forward.
Hayden Smith chiming in here on Nuanez Now, our NHL and Stanley Cup conversations, proudly presented by Sportsbet Montana. Check out the Sportsbet Montana website if you want to see all the various moving odds, etc., but also find out where to bet. Also get that Sportsbet Montana app in your life as well. Vegas has been off what seems like forever because they had the sweep. This is the same dynamic as in the NBA Finals with the New York Knicks because they just smashed the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then they've been chilling for almost 2 weeks. In hockey, does that help or hurt you? And specifically for this Vegas team, does that help or hurt them, the fact that they get all this extra rest?
I think that the extra rest is going to help Vegas more than it's it helped Carolina. And one, just because I think that Vegas has like a true top line of guys that if they got hurt or if they're not feeling well, I think impacts the way that the entire team plays more than Carolina does. I mean, if you don't have Mitch Marner and Jack Eichel, I think you're going to see a lot more of an impact than, if the Carolina doesn't have a Sebastian Aho and a Seth Jarvis. And not to say that those guys on Carolina aren't good, but they're not at the level of Jack Eichel. I mean, Jack Eichel's a Stanley Cup winner. He's a perennial, 90, 100-point guy. I don't know. It certainly was not like the 11-day break that Carolina took. I mean, Carolina got it done in 5 against the Habs, so it wasn't like a super long time. We were only talking a few days, but I do think that just the star power that leads Vegas, just giving them a little bit of a chance to heal up. Those are guys that play 22 minutes a night compared to Carolina's top dogs that play like 16 to 18. And in those 4 to 6 minutes, when you're playing 16 games, can add up and make a big difference.
For the layman fan, for somebody that maybe hasn't watched a ton of hockey until the playoffs, but now is sort of diving in and want to watch the best in the world, give us some of the guys to watch. You can start with Vegas. On the night side, who's some guys that are really catch your eye? You mentioned Jack Eichel multiple times already here. He's got to be one of them, right? And who else for Vegas is fun to get your eyes on?
Yeah, Jack Eichel's certainly one of them. I mean, he's a guy that had a pretty interesting career over in Buffalo and finally transitioned over to Vegas and had a lot of success. But I think really the most interesting one is Mitch Marner. I mean, this is a guy that did not have a lot of playoff success in his career in Toronto. And, he's got 22 points. He's actually leading the NHL in playoff points right now for a guy that just hasn't had that success in the playoffs. I think that's a really interesting story to watch and to see if he can get to the finish line there. And then another guy, and I'm going to say this about both teams, but the goaltending is just so important in the playoffs. And Carter Hart's been great, but you can see the cracks start to show pretty quickly if guys get some pucks in the net early in the first couple of games. So just monitoring Carter Hart just to see if he can continue his excellent play, I think will be really interesting as well.
How about on the other side? Who are some of the Carolina players that you'll have your eyes on that people might find intriguing?
This is not like a goal scorer, and this is a guy that I think deserves a lot more credit in the league, but it's Jacob Slavin, and he's like a wet blanket to literally any good forward that you have on your team, and he's going to be great. Another guy is Logan Stankoven. He's been fantastic. He's another guy that I was talking about that, he's fine in the regular season. I think he had like 29, 30 points. I mean, he did not have a good regular season, but man, he has been absolutely flying for them in the playoffs, so he's going to be a really interesting one. Taylor Hall, I talked about him earlier. He's a guy that's best hockey's behind him, but he's definitely finding a stride here in the playoffs, and I'm interested to see. And then Seth Jarvis, Sebastian Aho. I could talk about so many guys on the Canes, and this is just a testament to the depth that they have. Like, they don't have that like bona fide top line that the way Vegas does. Carolina just has 4 lines of guys that can roll. So I think that's really fascinating when you're looking at like the last couple years of Stanley Cup winners. I think when you look at like the Nathan McKinnons and the Nikita Kucherovs, like those are teams that are truly led by bona fide superstars in this league, guys that score over 100 points every single regular season, and the Canes don't have one of those guys. So that's interesting to see if they can kind of flip the narrative on the teams that really are built to win the Stanley Cup, because the Canes, historically just haven't been able to do. They haven't had the big dog, and now they have 4 not big dogs, but guys that are solid, and those are all going to be guys that are really, it's going to be interesting to see how they can continue to compete and if they can continue the success that they've had in the last couple rounds.
Well, is that depth then the reason that Carolina is big-time favorites? I mean, the book has this at on the money line for Carolina at almost minus 200. So they're saying that's a pretty lofty odds. They're saying it's like 3-1 for the Knights to win, and basically you got to bet over $200 to win $100 if Carolina's to win. Is it the depth, and what other factors go into Carolina being a pretty big favorite coming into this series?
Yeah, the depth is a huge part of it, and don't get me wrong, I think Vegas has a lot of depth too. They just don't have it. Like, if you just decided, like, as a coach, you did not like the way that the top line was Carolina was playing, you would put in another line and give them those minutes, and you'd almost see similar results. I think if you pulled the Mitch Marner and the Jack Eichel line out, that you would see like tremendous consequences from that right away. But Carolina has a great penalty kill. They had a great regular season, which Vegas did not. So, I mean, Vegas' success is fairly recent. I mean, Carolina's 12-1, so they haven't really lost a lot of games. They lost 1 game to the Habs after taking an 11-day break. Besides that, they've been perfect. Now, you can argue that Carolina's probably had an easier route. I mean, they did not have to play, the Western Conference playoffs are probably tougher. I mean, Canes have not played anyone as good as Colorado, but we saw how Vegas played out with Colorado as well. I just think the difference here, and I know Colorado is huge favorites to Vegas, but I think the true difference is Carolina, the way that they play, I think matches up better against Vegas than the way that the Avalanche did. They're almost as similar in the way that they play. I mean, they're really tight checking. The defensive structure and the two-way hockey, all of their guys are really two-way players. They both have had great goaltending, and they really, all of them have a lot of playoff experience. So I think this is a really neck and neck. I'm not going to look at the betting odds. Vegas doesn't care. They didn't care when Colorado came in as the big dogs either, right? So that's a team that's only a few years separated from a Stanley Cup. Carolina does not have that experience, but I just think they're a better team, and who knows if 7 games that they're able to prove that. But I would not be shocked if Vegas got this done either.
Hayden Smith here on Nuanez Now June, ESPN Radio. Great stuff. As our good buddy Mike Anderson used to say, Mike helped with these segments for a couple years, former Grizz hockey coach. The element of chance is more profound in hockey than any of the other professional team sports that dominate the airwaves in America. Therefore, betting on hockey is sort of a fool's errand. I'm going to place a little money on the game tonight just because it's fun, and I like having sort of some skin in the game to help me be engaged in watching it. I don't have any rooting interest in any of the NHL teams. If I had to pick an NHL team, I'd probably pick Edmonton. That's for 2 reasons. I think Connor McDavid is transcendently talented and unbelievable to watch. And also, I bought a bunch of Edmonton Oilers shirts on a ridiculous sale. They had 5 for $10, so I got 5 Edmonton shirts. So I might as well just pretend to be a fan, even if I don't know much about it. But other than that, I don't really have a rooting interest in it. So I like to maybe wager a little bit just to give myself a rooting interest for that particular game. But I do think that hockey is the most unpredictable of the 4 major team sports in America. And so that's what's going to make this great. It doesn't matter if Carolina is a huge betting favorite. Guess what? The Oklahoma City Thunder were a huge betting favorite to win the championship for basically the last 4 months. Guess who's not even in the finals? The Oklahoma City Thunder. So even in the NBA, where there isn't as much of an element of chance and almost always the best teams win, sometimes the best teams or the favored teams aren't the ones that get over the top, but this should be a great series. It should be fun to follow along. Nuanez Now 129 ESPN Radio. Thanks to our great friends at Sportsbet Montana for their continued support of our pro sports coverage. Get the Sportsbet Montana app and the website in your life and to go make yourself a little wager on this game if you so choose. We'll be back at it with a Treasure State Stars. We also got some free sandwiches from Tagliari Deli. That's next. Don't change that now. Keep it right here, 129 ESPN Radio.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
What do you expect me to say to her? She's getting married in 30 minutes.
We're doing everything we can.
John, can you hear me? John.
Mountain Town Vacation Rental Management, your local partner for vacation rental success. We provide a fully customized hosting experience tailored to your needs and goals. Your home is listed on every major site, helping you maximize visibility and bookings. And our local team is available 24/7 to handle guest needs and booking inquiries. Let us take the stress out of managing your vacation home. Contact us today at mountaintownvrm.com or give us a call at 406-369-3080.
This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
Welcome back. 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Unpopular opinion. AC/DC's better with Bon Scott as the lead singer. I know most people love the post-Bon Scott era. They love the Back in Black and Hell's Bells and You Shook Me All Night Long. And Brian Johnson's a legend too. But Bon Scott, man, he's my preferred AC/DC voice, no doubt. And that's certainly one of the classics of the early era of AC/DC. Time for our Treasure State Stars. Probably presented by Parkside Credit Union. Parkside Credit Union, a great place in western Montana to get a loan because Parkside Credit Union loves to say yes. How about the Laurel Locomotives and their bats so far today? They dropped a 13 spot on Hamilton in the Class A state championship. If you haven't been following along, this was supposed to go down Saturday in Hamilton, but rain forced a reschedule, so they played game one earlier today. Laurel had to win to stay alive. If they lose, Hamilton's the state champs. Laurel goes 13-1 over Hamilton, which then brings up this winner-take-all game two. And Laurel then drops another 3 runs in the first inning. So Laurel's bat's still cooking, but Hamilton responds in short order with 2 runs itself. So 3-2 going into the second. We'll get you all the updates from Butte as they come along. Treasure State Star number 1, a pair of young ladies from Billings West High School softball, Tatum Bush and Elise Steinmetz. Tatum Bush was dominant throughout the tournament, but specifically in the undefeated semifinal game between West and CMR, and then in the rematch that was the state championship game. Bush gave up 0 runs in those two. The first one was a 2-0 West win. The second one was a 10-0 West win. Bush struck out 8 in the state championship game and just faced 21 batters as she scattered very few hits. So she was an unbelievable cog in Billings West's first state title since 2014. And Elise Steinmetz, she really helped stake her pitcher to a comfortable lead. She hit a grand slam in the first inning, and West was after the races 4-0 after 1, and they end up winning 10-0 over Great Falls CMR. Treasure State Star number 2, Hayden Mayer from Big Fork High School. He threw a complete game in the state championship against Dillon, gave up just 1 earned run, scattered 6 hits, and he also had a couple hits at the plate. Big Fork beat Dillon 7-2 for their first state championship in school history. They also ended Dillon's season. That was Dillon's first loss of the entire year in the state championship game. That was the AB baseball tournament, which played out in Polson. Treasure State Star number 3, Shepherd Jr., Charity Dunn. She helped Shepherd to a 6-0 win over Florence for the second straight Class B state championship. For Shepherd, they've now won 49 in a row. Dunn struck out 13 in Shepherd's 2-0 win over Florence in the undefeated semifinal, and then she also struck out 12 in the nightcap in the 6-0 win over Florence. So Shepherd, your new dynasty of Class BC softball in the state of Montana. Treasure State star number 4, Mason McCarty. He's a Bozeman Gallatin senior and now a 4-time state champion in Class AA tennis. He is just the 5th young man in the state of Montana to do so. He won in straight sets to secure his 4th straight state championship. Mason McCarty is headed to the University of Montana to compete for the Grizz tennis team. Treasure State star number 5, a quartet of athletes from, well, they're not actually from Montana, but they're competing in Montana. Kevin Swindler, who hails from Tiger, Oregon, who's a senior pole vaulter for the Grizz. Rob McManus, who hails from Kashmir, Washington, who is a senior steeplechase runner for Montana State. Sydney Brewster, who is a junior shot put thrower for Montana State. She hails from Portland. And Tilde Bjureger, who comes from Sweden, who's a freshman for Montana State. All 4 of those athletes are going to the national championship meet in Eugene, Oregon. Swindler in the pole vault, McManus in the 3K steeplechase, Brewster in the shot put, and Bjureger in the 400-meter hurdles. Those are the 4 individuals from track and field at the collegiate level in Montana that advance. Treasure State star number 6, the Whitefish Tennis Program. Their boys won back-to-back championships. They sealed that second straight championship this weekend at the Class A state tennis tournament. That's the first time in 36 years Whitefish has gone back-to-back. And the girls put a cherry on top by also winning the state championship. So a sweep of Class A tennis for Whitefish. Treasure State star number 10, the Bork siblings. Olander Bork from Valley Christian won his first state championship as a sophomore. He played in the match twice already as an 8th grader and a freshman. So he gets it done, gets over the top as a sophomore to win the Class C tennis title. His younger sister, Tia, she's only an 8th grader. She wins the state championship before she's even in high school for Valley Christian. That's pretty darn impressive. And the Valley Christian boys took home the state championship at the BC tennis tournament for the second year in a row. So pretty cool what Valley Christian's got cooking there in tennis. And finally, Treasure State Stars Pride presented by Parkside Credit Union. Stellan Ridley of Missoula Sentinel. He had 2 RBI triples to really set the pace for Sentinel as they defeated Bozeman Gallatin in the Class AA state championship game. And the Sentinel Spartans, the first ever Class AA state champions of Montana high school baseball. We will potentially hear from Sentinel in hour number 2. Appreciate Parkside Credit Union for their continued support of Treasure State Stars. Parkside Credit Union, a great place in western Montana to get a loan because Parkside Credit Union loves to say yes. Hour 1 in the books, hour 2 coming at you. We'll give you some free Taglieri Deli. We'll also hear from Rob McManus and Kevin Swindler. That's all next. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Life can change in an instant. If you've been hurt in an accident, suffered from medical negligence, or are facing criminal charges, you don't have to face it alone. At Ryan Miller & Coburn, we're here to listen and fight for you. We're your neighbors, traveling across Montana to stand by your side as your link to justice. Real people, real help, right here in Montana. Ryan Miller & Coburn, your Montana attorneys.
DeMorris Buick GMC is ready to help you safely travel Montana's scenic roads in comfort and style. Stop by DeMorris today and test drive some outstanding SUVs. Right now, take advantage of closeout pricing on the exceptionally designed 2024 Buick Envision with models starting at $39,795. Don't miss this opportunity. Go to DeMorris.com to preview our inventory of 2024 Buick Envisions and then pay a visit to DeMorris Buick GMC on West Broadway in Missoula, your family-owned hometown dealership for over 60 years.
Around here, we see a lot of people head out. No matter where they're going, we just make sure they're ready. Before you hit the road, get a pre-trip safety check at Les Schwab Tires. It's free. Plus, this May, save up to $200 on select sets of 4 tires.
If we can't guarantee it, we won't sell it.
Life's about the journey, not the destination, right? Why can't it be about both?
Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Billings West High School sat at the center of the spring sports world this weekend in Missoula. Hello, I am Colter Nuanez. The Class AA and B State Track and Field Championships took place at Missoula County Public Stadium, while the Class AA softball tournament was mostly played right across South Avenue at Fort Missoula, and the Golden Bears stole the show at both championships. Although the state softball title game was actually played at the Grizzly softball field on the University of Montana campus because of weather on Saturday. For the 4th time ever and the first time since 2014, the Billings West softball team won the state championship, and this version of the Golden Bears left no doubt. Elise Steinmetz blasted a grand slam home run to dead center field in the first inning to give West a 4-0 lead. The Golden Bears never looked back, earning a 10-0 win over Great Falls CMR. At MCPS, the boys AA team title came all the way down to the wire while the West girls ran away with the state crown. The Golden Bear girls bookended the meet by shattering the all-class record in the sprint relay to start Friday and earned a gold in the mile relay to cap Saturday. In between, the West girls rolled up 122 points, nearly 40 more than second-place Gallatin, to earn their 8th AA state title and their first since 2016. The Golden Bears boys needed to place second in the mile relay and ahead of Glacier to edge the Wolfpack by 2 points for their 15th team title, which is also their first since 2017. For all the best marks from state track and field from throughout the weekend, tune into Nuanez Now all week long at 4 p.m. on 102.9 FM ESPN Radio.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is presented by Canyon River Golf Club. Nuanez Now on ESPN Radio.
One of the all-time greatest arguments in the history of this show had nothing to do with sports. once upon a time when Macklemore was at the height of his powers, we played Macklemore a lot on this show. I love Macklemore. He's awesome. I saw him in concert at the Adams Center a couple years ago. It was one of the best shows I've ever seen in Missoula and at the Adams Center as well. But I was sort of gauging our demographic, and we were trying to estimate what percentage of our audience, this is when I was co-hosting the show with Ryan Tutel, what percentage of our audience knew who Macklemore was. And I was estimating less than half, and Ryan was saying like 90%. And I think that I was probably placating a bit and underselling it. I think he was certainly overselling it. Then this turned into an argument over who was more famous, Jack White of the White Stripes or Macklemore. And I said, even if I think that less than half of our audience is a hardcore Macklemore fan or even knows who Macklemore is, he's still more famous than Jack White, whereas Tutel said Jack White's just the most famous person ever. This raged on for like years. Tommy Evans was in on it. Well, here we are now, years later, and we have AI to decide. I just Googled who's more famous, Jack White or Macklemore. I'm right. Thanks very much. The AI says that Macklemore is more famous based on the fact that he's won multiple Grammy Awards. He has better chart success. He's got a better social media presence, more significant cultural impact, and has collaborated with more mainstream artists. So there you go. Love when I win, and Ryan's not here to defend himself. Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Colter Nuanez coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Grizzly Disposal has one bin recycling. They can pick it up for you at your house. Don't even mess around. Just get them to come get it for you twice a month. Your cans, your cardboards, your plastics, all that stuff. You want to add the service or make the switch or both, 406-541-7171. That's 406-541-7171. Or visit GrizzlyDisposal.com. Grizzly Disposal. Locally owned, veteran-owned, the only bears that should be in your garbage. If you missed anything in the first hour of the show, we gave you a whole bunch of more high school sports news briefs. We talked about Montana State winning the All-Sports Men's Trophy in the Big Sky Conference. We got a new Montana Gatorade Player of the Year in baseball. We also talked about some of the local Montanans that are competing at other colleges that are going to the National Track and Field Championships next week in Eugene. Gave you an update on state softball, which, by the way, Laurel pounded Hamilton 13-1 in the last remaining series that's going on here. That's happening in Butte. It's for the Class A state championship. Laurel needed that win to extend their season. Now here we are going into the I'm trying to find what inning we're in. Bronx. Okay, so Hamilton cut it from 3-2. It was 3-0 Laurel in the deciding winner-take-all game. Hamilton then scored 2 runs to cut it to 3-2, but 2 more in the 5th, and now it is a 3-run deficit. It's 5-2 Laurel with 9 outs to go. I'm following Carson Cashin from the Missoulian for his updates, as well as the SWX Montana Twitter account. So if you're out there, if you're doing it, if you're tweeting, keep them coming so we can keep informed. But we talked about all that. We also had our latest Treasure State Stars, and we talked some puck with Hayden Smith. Stanley Cup Finals begins tonight. He gave us the insight on Vegas versus Carolina and what we can expect in the series. All of that on the Nuanez Now podcast, which is available on all your various podcast hosting platforms. Please rate, review, subscribe. It's funny because when I'm trying to pick out standouts each week from college track and field, I could pick Rob McManus from Montana State every week. Well, we learned our lesson because Rob's just the most surefire guy that's going to be going to nationals. He's now 4 for 4. He's gotten to nationals 4 years in a row. He's the 3-time defending Big Sky Conference champion in the 3,000-meter steeplechase, and now he gets his last shot at All-American honors in Eugene, Oregon. Caught up with one of our favorites, one of the most articulate guys in the Big Sky Conference, one of the top athletes in the state, right here on Nuanez Now. Well, it's that time of year usually when we make the rounds and get a Montana State steeplechase expert on the show, because these guys have just been unbelievable these last, I don't even know, 6, 7, 8 years now. It's been pretty cool to watch Montana State build up their steeplechase legacy. And now Rob McManus, who's one of the best to ever do it at Montana State, joins us here on Nuanez Now. He's headed back to the national meet for the 4th year in a row. He is the 3-time now Big Sky Conference outdoor champion in the event. Rob, good to see you, man. How's it going?
It's going good. Thanks for having me.
First of all, you got to tell us about sort of this swan song season for you. It's probably different than all the other years you've been doing this because you're sort of celebrating the anniversary of the end, right? So just take us through how it's been so far for you running at all these meets and competing in all these competitions that you've been so great at over the years, but doing it for the last time.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a surreal feeling. It's when you're in the moment, and in previous years I felt like it's never going to end, and now I'm getting to the point where it's my last national meet, and I'm like, wow, this is really it. So, but it's been a great ride. It's been incredible. I feel truly fortunate that I've been able to kind of build up every year and keep some success going.
Well, take us through your sort of mindset coming into the Big Sky Outdoors, because you had a championship to defend and you did it well. So what did you think just going into that meet, and what was this going through your mind as you sort of prepared yourself to try to win the three-peat?
Yeah, I was definitely excited. It's not every day you get a chance to do something like that, defend your title. I think, it's funny looking back the past few years at Big Sky Championships. I've been pretty nervous for all of them, but this year, I'd won the last 2 titles, and I was just like, confidence is the name of the game. I've been here before, I've done the rounds on this, and I was definitely nervous, and I was really excited to get out and race, but I also wanted to be confident, but not overly cocky was my plan.
A crazy meet too, all the way around with the competition, but also with the weather and stuff like that. So when you are in Portland and it is raining cats and dogs, how do you sort of adjust? Do you have to adjust as an athlete?
Yeah, it definitely changes things up a little bit. It really, the weather definitely became much more of a factor on Saturday, on day 2 of the meet. And fortunately, steeplechase was day 1, so I didn't have to worry about it for the steeple. But yeah, we had so many lightning delays, a lot of really rainy weather there, and you just have to adjust in the moment as an athlete, and you got to realize everyone's dealing with it. It's a tough situation for everybody, and you just got to lock back in and make the most of it.
Well, does your mentality then change going into regionals, or how do you sort of manage a race? Because obviously you want to run a really good time, but also, it's sort of just about like, where do you place? You got to figure out a way to survive in advance. So how do you go about devising your race strategy last weekend going into the first round of the NCAAs?
Yeah, I definitely spent a lot of time thinking, especially about the regional meet. You never quite know what to expect at regional meets. There's always guys who come out of the woodwork. There's always different situations based on what heat you might be in or how other people race. But I kind of knew going in that I was going to be a guy that maybe a lot of people in the field were going to be looking to a little bit, because I've been to a few national meets in the past. And I think I kind of took advantage of that. And the first half of the race, I raced very confidently, like put myself up towards the front. I was aggressive, and that was my plan going in. And then in the back end of the race, it's kind of just a push for home and making sure you get top 3.
Were you nervous at all going into the regional?
Yeah, I was pretty nervous. In past years, it's always been like you worry that something could go wrong, but then you're like, I got next year. That's okay. Like if something does go wrong, I got next year. And so my mentality was different, because it's very much like, I don't want to go out yet. I want to go out on my own terms. I want to go out running well. And that definitely puts a bit of pressure on you, but you kind of just got to embrace it. And, like I said about conference, my big plan for regionals was just confidence. I'd been to 3 national meets before. I'd been around the block a lot, and I'd like to be confident in that I can show up on the day no matter what's going on. And I'm proud to say I did.
Rob McManus joining us here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, as well as SWX Montana Television and the ESPN MT app. He is a senior at Montana State and headed to the national championship meet in Eugene, Oregon, not this weekend, but the weekend after. So take me through just your ability to harness consistency throughout your career. Because, you've been to the national meet now, indoors and outdoors. You've been to this outdoor meet multiple years in a row. What have been the key factors? How have you been able to consistently get back there year in and year out?
Yeah, I think mindset's a big part of it. Just building every year, and also confidence that the build will happen every year. I think I look back on my redshirt freshman year when I first made the national meet in the steeplechase, and I think, man, I had a really great day at regionals, but looking back on that whole year, my sophomore year of college, I didn't really know what I was doing as much, but it's nice because in the years since then, I feel like even every week in training, I learned something new. I learned something new about myself, about my body. And when you get to be older, when you get to be a fifth year, you're around the block so many times that I think you can really harness all that information and put it to great use. And it really helps being an older athlete.
The information influx into the sport of track and field has been fascinating to me, right? I mean, you see, even just covered high school track in the state of Montana and across the region. It's never been better. The times are amazing. I mean, everybody all across the whole region, all across the country are doing so well. Do you feel like the information that is available has helped sort of accelerate the sport?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think the information, I think the communication of information has really accelerated the sport. Athletes and coaches alike are just learning so much and so much on every level, the high school level, the college level, and the professional level. There's so much being put to use. And, we're seeing now these insane runs from high school athletes, and insane runs from college athletes. And if you're going to be one of the best runners in the NCAA these days, you kind of have to consider yourself one of the top people in the country. For some of these guys, some of the top people in the world. And so the information has definitely been crucial. I would say also in the last 5 years or so, shoe technology for distance running has played a huge part in it. And I think the shoe technology has also changed how people train as athletes. And I think that's definitely accelerated the sport.
Well, that's fascinating. What has changed the most about the shoes?
There have been a lot of technological advances in maybe not necessarily just racing shoes, but also day-to-day training shoes. A lot of brands like Nike or Adidas, they're creating these quote-unquote super shoes that they put carbon plates in them. They've got this special types of foam in them that are designed to just increase recovery. And what it's doing is it doesn't necessarily allow you to run really fast in the moment, but it allows you to do a big workout day, and then you don't feel terrible the next day. It allows for recovery. And so that in turn leads to more consistent training, which in turn leads to people just being better.
Fascinating. Yeah, it feels like there's just so much knowledge at people's disposal now, and I think that's actually hurt a lot of sports, but it seems to have been nothing but great for track and field. It also seems like track and field athletes, maybe not across the board, but a lot of times have very analytical minds that can sort of absorb information as well. You guys seem like you're information hungry. So do you feel like there's sort of a relationship there too?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'd say in track and field especially, it's a sport that's a little bit unlike a lot of sports where, in workouts, you just get splits. You're running around a track, or if you're jumping or throwing, you have a mark right there that you can see. And that leads to everyone being very analytical because you can say, okay, I'm hitting this time or I'm hitting this mark. Like, what am I doing to hit that? Can I consistently hit that? What do I need to do to feel good about consistently hitting that? And that all just applies to training and applies to success at large.
Well, Rob McManus joining us here on Nuanez Now 102.9 ESPN Radio. We'll get back to the trip to Eugene that's coming up, but I got to ask you about the Montana State women. We've had great fun interviewing some of these young ladies, and they've been awesome to talk to. And what a crazy and cool performance for them. I mean, it's been like a lifetime since somebody besides Northern Arizona or Sac State won the Big Sky Outdoor Championship on the women's side, but your female counterparts did so this last spring. So take us through, what was your seat? What did you think of just them taking home the team trophy?
Oh, that was just incredibly special. It was so fun watching our women's team get that done. They've been knocking at the door of that for years, and it's so hard at a conference championships because everyone has to show up. A lot of things have to go right, and a lot of people have to step up in the moment. And our women's team just killed it. It was incredibly special. I think back to 2024 when the men's team won the championships in Bozeman, and that was it came down to 1 point, and that was like an insane day for us and an incredible experience and everything. But the women in Portland, like, I got to give them a shout out because they destroyed second place. You know, they won by 50 something points, I'm pretty sure. And that was just so special to see. And it was so special to see the ladies just all show up over those 4 days. And yeah, I think that was pretty awesome to witness as their fellow teammate.
Well, it's all just sort of part of the same broad narrative, and that is just the continued improvement and continued trajectory of Montana State track and field. So I guess two-part question. What's it been like to be a part of that, and sort of the prestige on a national level that the steeplechasers have had has been sort of leading the way. So what have you thought of just being a part of this rise and also sort of being part of one of the event groups that sort of leads the charge?
Yeah, that's incredibly special. I think, when I first got into the program back in the fall of 2021, you know, a lot of the guys on the team, you know, there was this mindset that, like, you know, we have this potential to be really good. And we really, like, it's going to come down to how bad we want it. How bad do we want to put in the effort? How bad do we want to build this program for each and every one of us? And I think I've been around 5 years. I've seen a lot of different guys come through this team. And it's just been incredibly special, just watching everyone come through and how much across every event group everyone cares about the program and about the team at large. You mentioned steeplechase. You know, when I first came in, Duncan Hamilton had already been crushing it in steeple for a while. And, you know, I got to see Levi Taylor also, like, you know, follow right behind him. And having those guys as upperclassmen when I was a freshman definitely contributed to my success, definitely contributed to my mindset, to my growth as an athlete. You know, I don't think I'm the athlete I am today without the older guys who were on the team when I first got to Montana State. And I owe them a lot for that. And I owe the past team a lot for that too. Just the mindset that has become just the standard and the norm for everybody at Montana State.
Well, and now you get one last chance to sort of uphold that standard. So how we feeling going back to Eugene, and how much do you think your previous experiences there will help you? And is there anything maybe that you'll change, that maybe you want to do different coming into this national meet?
Yeah, I'm really excited. You know, it's I've been thinking a lot about it ever since the regional meet, just being back on the national stage. And I think that, you know, I've mentioned a few times confidence has been key for me this season, you know, and realizing that I have a lot of experience in every race in the NCAA. You know, I've had a lot of experience at Big Sky Conference Championships. I've had a lot of experience at the regional meet, and I've had a lot of experience at the national meet as well. And so I think my mindset, definitely, I want to emulate that confidence, just because there's so many incredible athletes in the steeplechase this year. Like, it's a very competitive event this year. But I think that I think mindset and experience plays a huge part in how nationals will go, not necessarily only athleticism. And so I'm just really excited to go back to Hayward Field, and I know my way around that track. I've been there before several times, and I really want to utilize that and be confident in my ability there.
Well, it would be really fun to follow along, and we certainly will be keeping tabs on you. But we appreciate the time, as always, sort of our yearly check-in with you, because you've been doing so great over all these years. But thanks so much for making some time for us here today, and best of luck with this next week and a half or so.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
One of the most decorated athletes we've covered, Rob McManus. He's a 3-time Big Sky Conference champion. The other time they didn't win it, he got second. So he's basically been either at or near the top of the podium for his entire career at Montana State in the steeplechase. He's going back to Eugene, Oregon for the 4th time. For those keeping track, that's as many times as you can go to the NCAA Outdoor Championships. He has done a great job continuing the legacy that was sort of started by Duncan Hamilton, continued by Levi Taylor, and now Rob McManus carrying that banner for Steeplechase U. Nuanez Now, this part of the conversation probably presented by Cash One Pawn. Cash One Pawn, the premier pawn shop in Western Montana. You need quick cash? Head on out to Cash One Pawn. They can get you a quick loan. It's located on Roller Coaster Road, just past the airport, just short of the Y. We'll be coming to you live from Cash One Pond tomorrow afternoon. We'll keep on talking track and field. Right now, Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. Well, the vast majority of spring sports in the books after this last weekend, but a handful of athletes from the state of Montana are continuing to compete with the NCAA Outdoor National Track and Field Championships coming up in Eugene, Oregon in a little bit more than a week, including a young man from the University of Montana, Kevin Swindler, our guest. He is a standout pole vaulter and the school record holder at UM. Kevin, thanks for being here, man. How's it going?
Yeah, of course. Glad to be here. It's going great. Just getting ready for nationals next week.
Well, take us through the last couple weeks of your season, because you had some great high water marks during the regular season. Then a tough time at the Big Sky Outdoors, but you get back on track and you sort of reset the school record and punch your ticket to nationals. So, what's sort of your mentality going into the regional meet this last weekend?
Yeah, I had my great meet down in Idaho where I first set the outdoor school record, and felt great going into the conference meet. And then there were just some unfortunate difficulties at conference. But I knew my abilities and I knew what I could do. And I didn't let what happened at conference waver my confidence at all. And I think that's been such a big thing for me. It's just being confident in my abilities. And you can talk to anyone going into that regional meet. I was very confident, ready to go, and I was able to execute. So it was exciting to be able to tie my PR, tie the school record at regionals, to punch my ticket, which was pretty cool way to do it.
Well, sometimes those regional meets can be intimidating because you're going against, the Big Sky is a great track league, but all of a sudden now you're going against guys from USC and Arkansas and Texas A&M, and it's, sort of the big boys. So, but obviously you weren't intimidated. So tell me about just sort of that, preparing yourself for a elevated level of competition.
Yeah, it's always cool to see. Obviously with social media and stuff, you're able to see everyone, and but it's always cool to see all those people in person. But I've always performed well under pressure. I prefer a little bit of pressure and someone to jump at. It actually kind of drives me to do better. So big meets like that, they actually help me a little bit because that added pressure just gives me that edge that I need to, hit that bigger pole or just commit to a jump. And I knew it was on the line. It was my first regional meet. I was, I didn't know exactly what to expect coming into it. You always hear stories about how it's harder to warm up and it's just a harder competition, and it definitely was. But I think I was able to manage that pretty well. And despite all the the delay from Wednesday to Thursday, and then all the rain throughout warm-ups and throughout the competition, I was pretty happy with my ability to handle that pretty well when there were some pretty top athletes that were struggling, and I felt that I was able to handle that well.
What makes it harder to warm up? Is it just because there's so many people trying to get in the pit?
Yeah, so we have I believe it was 75 minutes to warm up, so about an hour 15. And when there's 24 athletes on a pit, it's right. You have about 10, maybe even 15 minutes between your jumps during warm-ups. Luckily, I don't tend to take too many jumps in my warm-ups, and so I didn't have too much of an issue. But it ended up working out pretty well, actually, for me at least. But I know that it's kind of a struggle for some people. And then also during the competition, when you've got majority of the competition coming in at the opening bar, I believe there was 16 of us that came in at opening bar. And it takes a while to get around. So, sure. And I cleared it second attempt. So it's, first attempt, and then you wait 45 minutes and then you go again.
Did you have to have some strategy just like around that, like how to stay warm? And because that's a lot different for those that don't understand pole vault. Like a lot of times in Big Sky meets during the regular season, you're not coming in until at least half the jumpers are even already out, right? So that's different than coming in at the opening height. So did you have to sort of adjust your mental strategy?
A little bit. It was the highest opening bar that I've come in at, and it was 3 centimeters under what my PR was before indoor season this year. Wow. Which was 5'10". So I was pretty proud of myself to be able to come in and jump that as my opening bar. But yeah, it's difficult staying warm. You start to get pretty pretty fatigued by the end of it. And because it's, you take a jump, you sit down, you wait because you don't want to be moving around too much, and then you have to re-warm up again, and then you take another jump, and it's a bit of a repeated cycle. So I mean, I just remembered having to get up and down, and everyone's watching the competition, and I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. I mean, I probably warmed up 4 or 5 times throughout the whole competition, just waiting between jumps and between bars and stuff. So it was pretty nerve-wracking too. I mean, you're jumping at these higher bars, you're on bigger poles, and so it's a little nerve-wracking, but it's pretty fun. It's pretty cool.
It's really pretty fun. Yeah, fun to watch, no doubt. Kevin Swindler joining us here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, as well as SWX Montana Television and the ESPN MT app. He is headed to nationals at the NCAA Outdoor National Track and Field Championships in Eugene, Oregon. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Tell us about sort of just your ascension, but also just the vast ascension of pole vault at Montana. Because, I mean, it's been very clear that Doug Fraley and his staff have come in and had a huge influence on the improvement of Grizz Track and Field. And you see it across the board, but particularly in the pole vault, the sprints, and the javelin is where you guys have just been awesome. And obviously the high jump, too, with Aaron Wild carrying the day and winning every Big Sky championship there is to win. But, I mean, how has the coaches helped you? And why do you think that is? Why do you think you guys have been so excellent, particularly in your discipline?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they've come in and completely changed this program for the better. I was their first real recruiting class back, when I was first getting into college, and it's pretty cool to be part of a program that's growing like this. And specifically in the pole vault, I mean, you have your head coach being a pole vaulter who jumped 19 feet back in the day and was a world-class athlete. And then even our pole vault coach, Erica Fraley, went to the Olympics, and she was some of the first few women to start pole vaulting, and just having that sort of almost culture in our team of having a head coach that backs the pole vault so well. He's so invested, and it's always nice to have that sort of that influence and just depth of knowledge. I mean, they've both been surrounded by the sport for such a long time. It's they just know so much. They know so many people. They know what they're talking about. And so it's always nice to have, a coach in my back pocket that knows what she's doing. And I know that I can trust what she's telling me. And especially in a competition like that, like regionals, where it's really hard, and you're kind of sitting there waiting a lot. And it's nice to have a coach that's able to kind of help you through that scenario, something that she's been through before at those bigger meets, and something that she's struggled through and came out on top sometimes. And so it's great to have that.
Well, you've certainly accomplished a lot this year, setting the school record and advancing to nationals. So how do you sort of reset now and get ready for nationals? Because obviously you want to enjoy what you've done so far, but you still have sort of the biggest stage in track and field. So how do you anticipate this is going to be? I mean, this has got to be a dream come true for you, a guy from Oregon who's going back to Eugene to compete. I mean, that's the Mecca, right? That's the place that everybody wants to get to, is, the NCAA is in Eugene. So what do you think of this opportunity? How do you sort of mentally reset yourself and get ready for it?
Yeah, it's definitely been a very long season. Track is one of the longest seasons in college sports, but so I'm definitely feeling that a little bit, but I'm very excited. I mean, this is definitely a dream come true. This is everything I've been working for leading up to this moment, and so this week's kind of a little bit of a reset week, touch up on some things, not too much, just kind of got to go out and do what I already know how to do. And I already jumped at Hayward before. I jumped there a lot in high school. So it's kind of just going back home for me, experiencing that Hayward magic a little bit more. But I'm excited to get back down there. It's a little nerve wracking. I was talking about it earlier, the opening bar last week was my highest opening bar. For nationals, it's going to be even higher. So That's the main. Once I get past that first bar, I know that I can trust my abilities and compete. And I think I can compete up there with some of those top guys. Just got to be on the day and, go out there and compete to the best of my abilities. So, I know what I can do. It's just, I got to go out there and show everyone else what I can do.
It was going to be very fun to watch, and congratulations again, and we'll certainly be following along. But thanks so much for making some time for us here today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Kevin Swindler here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Take a break, come back. We figured it out. Sentinel Baseball, AA state champions for the first time. That's next. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Around here, we see a lot of people head out. No matter where they're going, we just make sure they're ready. Before you hit the road, get a pre-trip safety check at Les Schwab Tires. It's free. Plus, this May, save up to $200 on select sets of 4 tires.
If we can't guarantee it, we won't sell it.
At Shields, we're anglers, endlessly seeking and refining techniques. We're hunters and storytellers, because we've been out there. We're experts that put products and gear to the test, so we can share that knowledge with you. At Shields, we understand your outdoor journey and the path you're on, because we walk it too, every step of the way. Shields, right there with you.
Mountain Town Vacation Rental Management, your local partner for vacation rental success. We provide a fully customized hosting experience tailored to your needs and goals. Your home is listed on every major site, helping you maximize visibility and bookings. And our local team is available 24/7 to handle guest needs and booking inquiries. Let us take the stress out of managing your vacation home. Contact us today at mountaintownvrm.com or give us a call at 406-369-3080.
The rare moments in life, they're not just few and far between. They're meant to be treasured.
Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Billings West High School sat at the center of the spring sports world this weekend in Missoula. Hello, I am Colter Nuanez. The Class AA and B State Track and Field Championships took place at Missoula County Public Stadium, while the Class AA softball tournament was mostly played right across South Avenue at Fort Missoula, and the Golden Bears stole the show at both championships. Although the state softball title game was actually played at the Grizzlies softball field on the University of Montana campus because of weather on Saturday. For the fourth time ever and the first time since 2014, the Billings West softball team won the state championship, and this version of the Golden Bears left no doubt. At least Steinmetz blasted a grand slam home run to dead center field in the first inning to give West a 4-0 lead. The Golden Bears never looked back, earning a 10-0 win over Great Falls CMR. At MCPS, the boys AA team title came all the way down to the wire while the West girls ran away with the state crown. The Golden Bear girls bookended the meet by shattering the all-class record in the sprint relay to start Friday and earned a gold in the mile relay to cap Saturday. In between, the West girls rolled up 122 points, nearly 40 more than second-place Gallatin, to earn their 8th AA state title and their first since 2016. The Golden Bears boys needed to place second in the mile relay and ahead of Glacier to edge the Wolfpack by 2 points for their 15th team title, which is also their first since 2017. For all the best marks from state track and field from throughout the weekend, tune into Nuanez Now all week long at 4 p.m. on 102.9 FM ESPN Radio.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is presented by Canyon River Golf Club. It's Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
It's a long story. It's an inside joke. We don't got any time. Welcome back to Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Colter Nuanez coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio. Time for a Prep Extra, probably presented by Vertical Raise. You want the biggest check for your high school sports organization? Visit verticalraise406.com. Vertical Raise helped raise more than $15,000 for Missoula Sentinel baseball as they got their program off the ground this year. It culminated in a state championship. We caught up with several members of the Sentinel baseball team, but the connection with the players, it just was non-usable. It didn't record for some reason. So I edited it up. This is mostly, you'll hear a little bit from the players, but mostly manager Brian Mosier here on Nuanez Now talking about Sentinel's state championship win. Well, there can only be one first time, and that's what we got here today, the first Class AA state champions in Montana baseball history and the first state baseball championship for the Missoula Sentinel Spartans. We're joined by a couple captains, Caden Tennis, as well as Merrick Hull, as well as the manager and head coach of the Spartans, Brian Mosier. Guys, thanks for being here. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Very good. Thanks so much for asking. So first of all, we got to start with you, Brian. Of course, as it always goes, weather a huge factor when it comes to Montana high school spring sports, and it raised its head this weekend, and it caused for all sorts of different reschedulings and crammings and all this sort of stuff. But you guys had to endure it and basically had to play late night one night and didn't win the state championship until the wee hours of Saturday morning. So from a manager's perspective, what was your strategy to be able to handle that, and how did you think the kids dealt with sort of the reshuffling that went on in Butte this weekend?
Yeah, really, as a coaching staff, we kind of just talked about, if we have a long break, how much time do we need to, get back to the field, get ready. Just wanted to make sure that we tried to keep it as normal for the boys as we possibly could. Fortunately, we only had one lightning delay during an actual game, and a lot of people think it kind of helped us out because we were losing at the start of that delay, and then we came back, and that's when we scored 15 unanswered. So it worked out the way it was supposed to work out in our eyes. And then the late night one, it wasn't as big of a deal as I was worried about at first, mostly just because once we got to the field and I saw the guys warming up, we knew we had a little bit of extra time, but they were in such good moods. They were enjoying each other's company. They were very loose. And it just kind of took all of the tension away from me. Just really liked where they're at. And I thought they did a great job of, being flexible and doing whatever was asked for them.
Well, it's a great run by you guys, and such a great, especially second half of the year as well. So, Merrick, tell us about that part. I mean, you guys had a little bit of a slow start, but an unbelievably strong finish, culminating in 3 wins in 2 days in Butte. So, what was the turning point for this team, and how are you guys able to make such a great run this last weekend?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We started off the season pretty slow, and I don't know if our guys kind of thought it was like last year, let's go and coast through the season, have some fun, be kind of a 500 team. And then, we lost to
one of the lower down teams in our conference. And the coaches we got to practice the next day, and they made the practices a lot harder. And I think that's when kind of us as a group, we realized, like, hey, we got to get this done. We're a good team with great players. We should not be losing this amount of games. We should be one of the better teams in the state. So I think the coaches did a great job of holding us accountable and keeping us going.
Kate, Eric, what do you think are the key factors that made your guys' team come together? And what were some of the things that you guys did to navigate this and win this championship?
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to go off what Caden said. Everyone stepped up to do a job. You know, we had 2 freshmen on the team that did amazing. They handled the pressure really well. Our lineup 1 through 9, they did a job. You know, whether that was putting down a bunt, whether that was key defense, everyone did a job. It was really great. I think that was the key role. Everyone stepped up.
Sentinel Baseball joining us here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, the champions of Class AA. The first time there was a AA tournament, just the 4th year of baseball here in the state of Montana. Coach, in your mind, what made these guys go? I mean, what helped you sort of endure the season, and how were you guys able to surge down the stretch like you did?
Well, I mean, I think we were strong pitching-wise all year. Even, they keep saying that we started slow, but our non-conference schedule was a gauntlet. I mean, we played CMR twice. They finished at the end of the season. We played Gallatin on the road. Obviously, we saw them again in the Chipper. But even the Class A schools we played Frenchtown twice. We played Dillon once. We opened the conference with Butte and Big Sky. So the first 10 games of our season, we were playing great competition, and that had something to do with our slow start. But really just kind of buying into what we wanted to be as a team, which is throw strikes, play good defense, just make the routine play, and you'll give yourself a chance to win. And they really bought into that. Offensively, we got a little bit better each game. The offense came along nice. And then we just kind of hung our hat on a couple good pitchers at the top. And we had some young relievers come in that threw strikes at the end of the season. And yeah, if you play baseball the right way, you should at least have a chance at the end. And that's what we did.
And that is the key, right? I mean, in baseball, it is so much about not beating yourself first and foremost, and then going out and figuring out a way to get the win after that. So,
absolutely.
I mean, what did that take for these guys? How were you able to get the guys to buy into that this year?
The first couple times you say it at the start of the year, they kind of are looking at you and like, yeah, we've heard that before. But I think they started to see that if you don't lose the game yourself, you're going to find you're having success. And I don't know. I mean, we got on a roll. We won 10 out of our last 11. It was a great run. It was fun. Once you start feeling good, the ball looks bigger when you're hitting, and the game slows down when you're playing defense. And it came together. So proud of the guys. So proud of the coaches. All the work that they put in, the relationships that they built with these guys. It worked out. It couldn't have been any better. So proud of them.
Baseball here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Coach, we'll get you out of here on this. Just sort of same thing for you, just being a part of the ground floor of this. I know you've been involved in baseball around Missoula, around Montana for a long time, but just having this opportunity for these guys, to me, I think the best part is it's getting more guys to stay involved in baseball and keep playing baseball later on into their lives and actually getting to do it as a teenager and a high schooler and all that sort of stuff. So what do you make of just sort of making history at Sentinel and sort of these guys embracing the opportunity of being able to play high school baseball?
Yeah, I'm just really happy for the guys. Kind of piggyback on what Merrick was talking about, just extremely proud of the group that we had. Very happy for the group that we had, seeing all the work that they put in starting in January. And just, laying that foundation is so important. They've exceeded all of my expectations in that regard. They've set us up into a place of, people will hopefully look forward to playing Spartan baseball. I know we kind of went through that with football a couple years ago on their run, and you just see all these kids getting excited about football now. And so a little bit of success, it could help, encourage those kids to stick out a little bit longer with baseball, and hopefully that just gives more people the opportunity to keep playing. So really, I would like to say the other thing that was super helpful this year is just the support that we got from the entire community. Like you said, I've been coaching baseball a long time, but like that very first crosstown game that we had against Hellgate, it was even a non-conference game, and the stands were packed, and both schools were there showing out. When we played Big Sky, same thing. We did a teacher appreciation night with Big Sky, and just the stands were packed. The support that we had from the community was outstanding. So we've had a lot of help in building this foundation from everybody around, including our school administration, the teachers, the student body. But yeah, it's been a wild couple years, but just so proud of how it's turned out, and excited about where we can go next.
Well, very cool, and congratulations to all you guys again. It's been fun following along, and I'm so happy high school baseball exists in the state of Montana now. But thanks for making some time for us here today, and best of luck with everything moving forward, but congratulations again.
Thank you, Coulter. Appreciate you having us on.
We had the captains lined up, but that only a little bit of that audio was actually functional. So appreciate Sentinel Baseball, though, and Brian Mosier for joining us here on Nuanez Now. Probably presented by Vertical Raise, the elite online fundraising platform. You want the biggest checks for your high school sports organization? Visit verticalraise406.com. Vertical Raise helped raise over $15,000 for Sentinel's inaugural high school sports season. Final thoughts on what's going on around the state of Montana and the wider world of sports next. Keep it right here, 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
Access to Montana's great backyard is the best part of being a Grizzly. At the University of Montana, our classrooms are the mountain peaks, river valleys, and never-ending plains of the Big Sky country. We provide students with the hands-on training to protect and enjoy hunting, conservation, and stewardship. UM launches the careers of outdoor leaders so that they can protect our traditions and ensure they are passed down for future generations. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
Why would any business let you use their product and give you 365 days of reassurance? Mattress Firm does because they believe in their mattresses. Save on top brands like Nectar, Tempur-Pedic, Beautyrest, Serta, Stearns & Foster, and others. Mattress Firm carries $149 mattresses all the way up to the luxury Purple Rejuvenate Premier. 0% in payments as low as $39 a month, along with 365 days of reassurance. See why Mattress Firm is Montana's best place to find the sleep you deserve.
Mattress Firm, where it's easy to get a great night's sleep.
Mountain Town Vacation Rental Management, your local partner for vacation rental success. We provide a fully customized hosting experience tailored to your needs and goals. Your home is listed on every major site, helping you maximize visibility and bookings. And our local team is available 24/7 to handle guest needs and booking inquiries. Let us take the stress out of managing your vacation home. Contact us today at mountaintownvrm.com or give us a call at 406-369-3080.
Is now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
Welcome back. Welcome to ESPN Radio. Shout out to our loyal listener, Don. He's always cruising up and down I-90. I know he listens quite a bit, but he dropped off this cool piece of memorabilia for us here. It is a framed picture, or a framed cover from ESPN, the magazine, circa 1999. I think it's 1998, actually, going into the 1998-1999 season, and right ahead of the 1998 football season as well. Randy Moss is on the cover. Crazy to think that ESPN magazine is not a thing anymore. Sports Illustrated is hardly a thing anymore. Makes me, somebody that grew up wanting to write for those magazines, pretty sad. But, everything comes and goes, and that's just kind of where we're at. If you missed anything in the show today, a ton of prep high school sports coverage, a ton of college track coverage, a ton of high school baseball coverage, a ton of Stanley Cup Finals previews coverage. All of it is available on the Nuanez Now podcast, which is available on all your various podcast hosting platforms. The Missoula Paddleheads have their home debut this evening. They welcome the Boise Hawks to Ogren Park Allegiance Field for the first of a 6-game set. This is the home opener for the Missoula Paddleheads. After opening the year on the road, the Paddleheads enter the series with a 7-5 record. Boise arrives in Missoula with an 8-4 mark. The matchup features two clubs off to strong starts and marks the beginning of another summer of baseball in the Garden City. Missoula was sort of all over the place to start the year, and I mean that literally in terms of where they were playing at. They had a couple different stops in California, and then they made their way over to Ogden, and now they're back at home. So they are road warriors already, having played 12 straight to open the season on the road, but now here they are back at home, and it should be fun. Matt Ellis, the president of the Missoula Paddleheads, he said, "Our team's ready to go tonight. The ballpark looks amazing. The food and beverage experience is as good as ever, and fans can expect a great night of entertainment. Our players are excited to perform in front of their home crowd and kick off the season at Ogren Park. It's go time. Come out to the ballpark, and let's have some fun." We will have tickets for you to Paddleheads games across the gamut of Missoula broadcasting stations. We have a whole bunch of tickets, but we're going to basically rotate them between stations. So we don't have any this week, but in 2 weeks we'll have a bunch here on ESPN. But there is tons being given away on the U1045 and on the Trail 1033, so you can always tune in to our sister stations if you're hungry for some Paddleheads tickets. We're going to roll right into Jeff Safford. He is down there at Ogren Park, and he'll give us the scoop on what might go down this evening. First pitch scheduled for 6:35, so we'll just roll it right into the pregame show with the man, the voice of the Missoula Paddleheads, Jeff Safford, and excited to have him back on the call for yet another year. He is excellent at what he does, and we are proud to be the affiliates of the Missoula Paddleheads. I think of it in a lot of ways. First of all, baseball is great on the radio. Second of all, Jeff is great on the radio. And third of all, why not have some local content here on your radio dial between 6 and 10 p.m. almost every single night of the summer? We'll be back at it tomorrow. Sammy and Kim inside the FCS. Our latest ESPN Roundtable with Tim Rosenby, former Grizz offensive coordinator who's an inductee into the Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame, and a whole bunch of other prep interviews. We'll see you at 4 p.m. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio.